Senator from Georgia. Mr. President, I encourage the members of the Senate to vote favorably on cloture so we can move forward on the important bill of human trafficking. But I come to the floor now to ask unanimous consent to address the Senate as if in morning business.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I don't normally come to the floor and address a question asked rhetorically on the floor the night before, but I'm compelled to do so today. Two incidences happened in the last week where my name came up and the Coca-Cola name came up, and I thought I'd set the record straight. This weekend, in an op-ed published in USA Today, leader Harry Reid and Sheldon Whitehouse, senator from Rhode Island, made the following statement. Republicans in Congress who represent great corporations headquartered in their states ignore those corporations. Walmart in Arkansas, Coca-Cola in Georgia, VF Corporation in North Carolina, when they explain the business case for addressing climate change and are already reducing their own pollution. Republicans in Congress who root boisterously for their state university sports teams ignore the warnings of scientists, researchers, at those very universities that they study at. And then last night on the floor of the Senate, in his 93rd speech on global warming, Senator Whitehouse made the following statement, and he asked this rhetorical question. He said, "I don't know whether Coca-Cola has ever spoken about climate change to Senator Isakson from Coca-Cola's home state of Georgia." So I came to answer that rhetorical question and to answer that reference that was made in the editorial by Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse. This picture is a picture of me and Senator Coons in Ghana, Africa. It's 5 years old, when at the request of the Coca-Cola company, he and I traveled the continent of Africa looking at clean water projects all over that continent, where African people who never had the opportunity to drink clean water before now have sustainable clean water plants because of the Coca-Cola company. Environmentally safe, environmentally friendly, non-carbon emitting water purification systems. During the course of the years that I've been in the United States Senate, the Coca-Cola company has briefed me on the following things about their business as it deals with climate change or carbon. Number one, they've saved 7 billion gallons of water in the U.S. with facility improvements in the United States, donated more than 70,000 ingredient drums for reuse in rain barrels, support over 100 watershed projects across North America, partnered with the National Forest Service to provide water to 60 million Americans. On energy and climate, they've improved cooling equipment efficiency by 60% in their operations since the year 2000. They own the largest heavy-duty hybrid electric truck fleet in North America. Improved energy efficiency in manufacturing by 8% since 2007. In packaging, over 96% of total waste is diverted away from landfills. Since 2007, they distributed 240,000 public recycling bins. They've achieved 70 million pound reduction in packaging material, and innovative packaging avoids 150,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions. 150,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions. In agriculture, they invested over $1 million to support sustainable agriculture in Georgia and across the United States, and supported the planting of 25,000 acres of new orange groves in Florida and 4,100 new jobs in energy efficiency. That's what the Coca-Cola company has advised me of since I've been in the United States Senate in terms of their commitment to a clean environment and a clean environment for our world and for our country. I believe the climate does change, but I don't believe climate change is a religion. I think it's science. I have done everything I can as a United States Senator to educate myself on the carbon issue and the climate change issue. 7 years ago, I went with Senator Boxer from California to Disco Bay in Greenland with Dr. Alley, who's the leading glaciologist in the world, to study for a while what he says about the possibility of carbon being the cause of climate change. And there are mixed reviews on that. There's mixed scientific evidence on that. I'm the first person to tell you we should reduce our carbon footprint. It's good for our atmosphere. It's good for our health. 8 years ago, when I was just entering the United States Senate, I bought a hybrid vehicle. I still drive that hybrid Ford Escape hybrid today. I did so because I thought it was a good business decision. I thought it was a good atmospheric decision. I didn't buy it because somebody made me. I bought it because I cared. My wife and I recycle because we think it makes a good idea. There are lots of things we can do to reduce the footprint of carbon. But to infer in a speech in the USA Today, or to infer in a speech that we're not cognizant of the things that are done by our corporations to reduce carbon emission and reduce the danger to the environment is just wrong, and it's just unfair. You know, Senator Whitehouse wrote a great book, which I've read, called Virtues. It's about the great virtues that make us living a good and healthy life. One of those virtues is truth. And the truth of the matter is all of us care about the environment. We just don't all subscribe to the same theory about what happens. But what we should all be doing is praise the good things that corporations are doing and recognizing that it's not just Democrats, not just Republicans, but it's American politicians who make the policies that determine where we go in the future. I think it's very important that we reduce carbon emissions, but I think it's also important that we be practical in those reductions. You can pass all the great regulations in the world that are good for the environment, but if it shuts down the American economy and American business, it's probably not a very good idea. The environment and business should work in harmony together, one another, rather than be adversaries and enemies. And publications like what appeared in the USA Today over the weekend, or speeches like what was made last night, don't do anything to foster harmony or a good commitment. Instead, they raise controversy. I love Sheldon Whitehouse. He's a great United States Senator. I appreciate Leader Reid and what he does, but I don't appreciate the references made about Coca-Cola or about me in the article that they wrote over the weekend or the speech that was made last night. In fact, as I thought about what I would do in terms of responding to what was said, I sat down last night and made an interesting observation. Monday of this week, before I left Georgia to come up here, I met with a Southern company, where one of the discussions that came up were the solar panels they've put out in the Southwest to amend the grid out there with solar energy, something that's environmentally sound and doesn't emit carbon. They talked about Plant Vogtle, where they're adding 3 and 4 reactors now, where nuclear, which is renewable energy, recyclable, that emits no carbon, is now being generated in Georgia. Reliable electricity with carbon-free generation through nuclear power. Yesterday, I had a meeting with UPS Corporation, which just happens to be one of the leaders in the world using non-fossil fuel burning ways to deliver their packages. You can go down the list of corporate America and the things that they're doing to reduce carbon emissions every single day, and they deserve the credit. But they don't need to be criticized or lectured to by members of the Senate for not lobbying me, because they do lobby me. Because they believe, as I believe, that reducing carbon is good, but it shouldn't be a religion. It should be dealt with scientifically. And it's important that we understand every contribution we can make to a carbonless environment is a good contribution, but we can't abolish it absolutely. And every regulation we pass to improve our environment is important, but if it shuts down American business, it's probably not the right decision to make. So since the question was asked rhetorically last night on the floor of the Senate, I thought I'd come and answer it in person, because I believe truth is a virtue. And the truth is the Coca-Cola Company has informed me continuously about the efforts they've made to reduce carbon emissions and to improve their environmental contribution. And there's no greater evidence of that than me drinking water that just came out of a purification plant in Ghana, Africa, out of a Coca-Cola cup. I think that's about the best evidence you can possibly find that they've delivered their message, they're doing their job, and I'm proud of the Coca-Cola Company, and I yield back the balance of my time.